Trying to explain to somebody what social anxiety is like is the shittiest, hardest thing to fucking do. My name is Eric. Welcome, guys, to my channel. If you're new here, hit that like and subscribe button. It's all about mental health, mental illness, suicide awareness, having a little bit of fun, making sure that nobody goes through life alone. I am diagnosed with ADHD, PTSD, GAD, and MDD. I'm a recovering addict of alcohol and cocaine. I lost a wife and a father to suicide, and I share a lot of my experiences, and one of them is with social anxiety. The other day had to do and run an errand. Now, my social anxiety doesn't get to the point that I'm trapped inside the house. That's agoraphobia. Social anxiety is also mistaken for shyness, and I'm not a shy person. If you get to know me, I'm not shy. It's a lot more to do with our thoughts. And I even shared on TikTok a video of literally I sat in the FedEx parking lot for well over 10 minutes, just like amping myself up, like I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And if anybody's ever been there before, if you fought through it, you have that like repetition of like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Sometimes you're throwing up and doing it at the same time, and you're drooling in your mouth and you're shaking, and it's that overwhelming. I literally made it from inside my vehicle to the outside of my vehicle. I ended up was like, fuck. So I recorded it, put it on TikTok so people knew they weren't alone. And then I was like, dude, you put it on tape. You got to go do it. Come on, come on, come on. And ended up going inside and getting it done. And it's really weird. And I don't know why it was that FedEx. I don't know what it was about that time of day. I've actually have logged it and journaled it so I can maybe try and find out, because I really had been struggling going in there. And it's very, very odd. It's not usually a very busy place. But explaining to somebody what social anxiety is like, they almost have to see it. And that's why I wanted to share it, because we do get mistaken for being shy or anxious. That's not what it is. I wasn't shy to go in there. I wasn't, I didn't have like sweaty palms because I'm going to ask somebody out in there, or like butterflies in my stomach. I just felt sick and paralyzed to the point that I didn't want to do it. It's one of those that it's kind of like if there was a fork in a light socket and you told somebody to grab it and that they had to grab it. And if they didn't grab it, you're going to hit them with a brick or something. I know this is kind of outlandish and weird, but they would almost want to, if the pain that you were going to give them was worse than the pain that they thought they were going to get from that light socket, they would be extremely hesitant, but they might grab it. I mean, that's kind of like what social anxiety is like. It's hard to explain. It's one of the hardest things I've ever ran into to explain. It's like being paralyzed and trapped, looking at a place and you can't get out of your thoughts. It's this overwhelming fear and terror almost of judgment, embarrassment, and you're just flat out fucking in fear. The worst things imaginable are happening in your head. And it's almost like ADHD to the max, because you have all these bad thoughts that are just popping all over the place. And you feel sick to your stomach, you feel weak, you feel dizzy, your speech is even a little bit slurred, you're not thinking correctly at all, especially once you kind of break through it. Like you just kind of do it, you're on autopilot mode, and when you're done, you're like, fuck yes, I did it. But to explain that to somebody if they don't experience it is hard. And my heart goes out to you in trying to get them to understand. The best ways that I've found is say, spend some time with me. Like these are my thoughts that are going through my head, and try to explain to them, that you feel sick to the point that you feel weak, and that you don't understand why the thoughts are the way that they are, of the judgment, of the embarrassment, of the fear, of the just overwhelming blanket of just, it's a nightmare. And not everybody's going to understand it. I think that there is a lot of stigma personally around social anxiety, because it is mistaken so many times for other things. And it's not something that you have to be crippled by. I mean, it can get down to even the point there are coping for it. A lot of times when I go out, I'll do fidget spinners. I'll do fidget cubes. I will put a warhead in my mouth. I'll put something sour in my mouth, bitter in my mouth, even Hall's cough drops in my mouth. I have magnets that, I'll take magnets out and play with I have a bunch of different tools that I use. This time, though, it was really weird because I couldn't find anything in my car. Like I had taken a lot of my stuff out to do other YouTube videos, which was my mistake. And I didn't have anything in my car to like focus on. So it was like, oh, fuck. But I will say this, I was actually really proud afterwards that I did it. It was a big thing on my to-do list to do, so you got to celebrate those victories. So I like celebrated that victory. I'm like, fuck, yes, you did this, way to go. And it is a struggle. So anybody out there struggling with it, my heart does go out to you. Find what works for you though. It's trial and error. You can do headphones to distract you. You can do fidget spinners, fidget cubes, even something as simple down to one of the greatest things. I haven't worn hats in a long time. And I went back to wearing this hat because a lot of people like the warrior hat. By the way, I do have a link to the warrior hats, the Teespring. They are up on Teespring. But like, I'll put the hat on and I'll fidget with the hat and play with the hat. That's what I ended up actually doing in FedEx is I finally defaulted to my hat and I'm like playing with the hat as the lady's like, "Can I help you, sir?" And I'm like, "Yes." She's like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Mail something." Just please, like, get me the fuck out of here. But it's a battle, and my heart goes out to you. Make sure that you get with therapy. I mean, if it gets too much, get with therapy. It's about finding what the different triggers are, and that's one of the things I'm going to be working on to find out why it was like even this FedEx and this, like I've struggled with this for like a fucking week. Like I've had all this shit that I've needed to mail out. And I haven't been able to do it. I don't know why. Like I can go to the store and get everything and do all this other stuff I need to do, but going there for some reason was hard for me. So one of the things that I like to do is dig in and just find out, is there a trigger behind it? What have maybe I've missed? What am I going through that's getting my brain to work this way? The more that we look in and we go, okay, you know, what are my triggers? What are my boundaries? What is happening? And why can I? To figure out how can I? Don't forget to work on yourself. It's huge. Celebrate those victories. Anybody out there struggling with social anxiety? I mean, I got links down below to all my social media. Reach out. It does help to talk to other people that struggle with social anxiety, because everything that I've tried to create is bridging the gap between a crisis hotline and therapy, of that in between, sharing experiences, tools, and resources. I even have links down below to the things that I use, such as fidget spinners and fidget cubes that are on Amazon, to BetterHelp. And if you never saw my video that I did with Authentic Mental Health, Charles, who's a good friend of mine, he shared about his agoraphobia and how BetterHelp helped him. And again, it comes down to trial and error, finding out what works best for you. What works for somebody else may not work for you, and that's okay. We're all different, but it's part of that trial and error. So don't give up on yourself. Hit that like and subscribe button. Comment down below. I'd love to know your thoughts about it. If you're new to my channel, check out some of the other videos. I share a lot with coping techniques, coping tools, coping skills. Just hoping that it helps somebody out there who is struggling go, you know what, I can do this. Never forget, you're a BAMF. You're a badass motherfucker. You've made it through 100% of your worst days to make it through 2 today. And we got this.